Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to spending the next hour and a half with you all. 1 minute, okay. When Lee asked me to do this, one of my goals was to avoid cliche, so I hope this presentation is spot on. It is what it is, and hope you'll be able to see the forest for the trees when we get through. Let's see which way this thing goes. No, it didn't. No, it's on the center. It's right there. All right, so you own a new piece of property here in Alabama. I know you're looking forward to playing on it and enjoying it. What you got to do is don't leave your boots in the house. You got to get your boots on the ground. And there they are. Right? Yes, they are. I've got to turn my head and see what I put on here. Trucks and four-wheelers won't get you around on your property like you need to. But who says they have to be your boots? A horse is a good alternative. Quick overview of what I'm going to do with us today. Management plan, like I said, Bill has said would be reviewed later on, and that's true. Maps, property line. Wayne, I got to move, Bo.
You just got a powerful voice, right?
Can I get out of here?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Help me.
Hey, what is you on this right here?
You won't get.
Thank you very much.
This is the first time I've seen this presentation too, so I'm going to be able to look at it myself. All right, here we go. We're going to go over maps, property lines, getting around the woods, what is on my land, timber, water, wildlife, flora, tools of the trade, what evil lurks, what kind of activities have we got going on, and finally, that's it. All right, management plan, as we talked about, is not a part of my show, but definitely you want one. This is the cover sheet I had for Handsome Stranger and his lovely bride. It was done in your county, and it was done by your favorite forester and wildlife biologist. Foresters are not, in fact, wildlife biologists. They know timber, they know trees. Wildlife biologists are out there. Find you one and let him have his input into your management plan. Maps are definitely essential. A topo map is very, very beneficial. My wife said, well, you're putting that slide up there, where do they go get one? Everybody knows, where do you go get anything? From the internet. Aerial photographs are the same. These can be acquired from your farm service agency. It should be in your management plan. Very, very helpful tool. And your management plan should also have a type map that will give you a lot of information that you can use. One of the best ones I have been using are these Google Earth maps. Copyright laws prevent me from putting one up here. They are extremely helpful. They're relatively current. Some down our part of the world were done last winter. They do have the wintertime aerial photography. The summertime aerial photography is very difficult to pick up your hardwoods and your pine. These are excellent. And there is a little bit of a learning curve on manipulating them. Play with it. I don't think you can mess up, but it sure over time will be a helpful tool to you. Your property lines. Know where your property lines are. If you don't know, step across it and your neighbor will tell you where it is. If you do have it surveyed, ask the surveyor to either paint it or flag it. Oftentimes I've been handed a survey and said, here's a survey of my property. Well, you walk out in the woods, a lot of times those lines are not very well defined. An old fence can sometimes be found on some of these older property lines. Go back, flag them, paint them, put up new fence. That's an even older one. I had to dig around the ground to find that fence, but a couple of posts existed. A road can be a property line, although rarely is the road exactly on the property line. Same with some of your fire lanes, although in this instance, it's pretty doggone close. Paint is an excellent property line identifier. I recommend that you paint your lines. It'll need to be redone probably every 5 years or so. How are you going to get around in the woods? The old-fashioned way, pull out a compass. A compass is a great tool to find yourself from point A to point B. You may miss it a few feet, but it'll come close. The new-fashioned way is a GPS. Excellent tool. They're relatively inexpensive these days. Learning them, not so easy sometimes. I've had one for about 7 years and I still don't know how to operate the thing. And even newer are these smartphones. Unbelievable. I just got one myself. I haven't used it in the woods a whole lot. You all got property out in the middle of nowhere. It may not work, so you got to go back to the old compass and GPS if you have to. What is on my land? Some of you all have got timber that looks like this. Some of it's even better than this. Know your timber. Look at your timber. Walk it. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself going through it. Creeks are very, very pretty. Lucky to have them. We need to maintain those buffer zones when you cut timber. If you have the opportunity to cut timber, try and leave as wide a buffer zone as you can stand or want. Provides water for wildlife, cattle, horses, whatever you may have on your property. A lovely pond is fun to have. Fishing, swimming, canoeing. Kick back, sit down and just watch the water ripple. Your wildlife, not everybody, a lot of folks enjoy deer hunting, deer observation, turkeys, quail, and songbirds. I found out recently that the bird watchers in the state of Alabama are one of the biggest money spenders that we have. And it's hard to believe it was past money, but they are, a lot of folks spend time watching birds. What have you got out there besides the trees and the animals? You've got a lot of, I've thought of them as being weeds, but cactus, ferns, a tremendous amount of herbaceous out there to enjoy, flowers. What are the tools of the trade for you as a new landowner? What do you need to have in your arsenal to enjoy your property? During the summer months, you need some kind of leg protection. And let me tell you, please purchase something in one of these fashions. Those are regular snake leggings, can be purchased in a lot of farm supply stores, from many of these forestry supplier stores. I enjoy a good pair of snake boots to wear around. I've never tested them. I hope I never have to. Or the full-fledged leggings, which will also give you some protection from briars up and down your legs. Not everybody, most folks that own a piece of property at some point in time are going to want to plant a pine tree or a hardwood tree. Two things to invest in are the Dibble, the little tool there on the left, the orange tool. And you wouldn't think you'd need a bag to carry around with just a few trees, but you walk 10 feet from your truck and say, dang, I got to walk all the way back to the truck to get another one, get you a bag. But if you're going to plant more than 10 of them, then we recommend some of these. They are one of the better tools to have feet on the ground when you get bent over about 50 times. And that's a little bit more than I want to take on this weekend. A backpack sprayer around the campsite, around your property lines, around your fire lanes, around your roads. Put a little Roundup in there and it'll keep some of those bushes from encroaching on your roads. Have a little fire, you'd be amazed at how much fire you can put out with a backpack sprayer. A lot of y'all have four-wheelers or golf carts, get one of those 25-gallon ones, put on the back end of it. It'll spray out a bunch of fire too, if you should have one. Flagging and pin flags. Get you a box of flagging, bag of pin flags. You're going to want to know where that one tree is that you want to go back to for some reason, or you want to keep it when they're cutting timber, or you want to make sure that it gets cut. You often say, well, I'll know where this is. 15 pieces of flagging will make sure you know where that is. A machete and a pair of pruning shears, big helpful tools to keep stuff cut back. If you haven't sprayed it back, you can cut it back, keep it out of your way. Keep burglars away at night. And a fire rake. You would think a regular hardware steel rake would be good at brushing out stuff. That fire rake, twice as fast, twice as much fun, wear you out a little less quicker. What does lurk in the woods we need to look for? We all have been concerned. I say we all have. Some folks love a snake. I'm not wild about them, but keep an eye on those snakes if you can. And they don't always show themselves very well. I hope y'all can't see that one very well to remind you just how bad they can hide or how well they can hide. Yellow jackets, wasps, hornets, they're bad, bad, bad. And that Alabama tick, that's something gonna get on you, you'll never get them off. They do have Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Just check yourself periodically through the day. Wear some kind of protection, insect repellent. And poison ivy, you haven't lived, you've had a good case of poison ivy. Poison oak, also in that category. I got a case of poison sumac one time. I'm not sure how I got it, and it didn't take long. It took a long time to get rid of it. And one more little thing out there in the woods that'll get you is a well, and they are not sometimes well identified as that. True story about the two sons were walking through the woods one day, and they ran up on a well similar to this, and they found a pebble there, and they threw the pebble in there, and they couldn't hear that thing, so they looked around and found a brick. They threw the brick down in there, still couldn't hear anything, so they reached around and found a cross tie sitting over there. Threw that cross tie in there. They heard a little splash in. About 5 seconds later, the goat came jumping in the well. They didn't think too much about it, a little weird. But walked along, they ran up on a farmer. The farmer said, "You guys seen my goat?" I said, "Well, matter of fact, I saw a goat jump in the well over there." Couldn't have been my goat. My goat was tied to a cross tie. And just how deep is that well? Recreation, you all know what you want. And I can't emphasize enough the opportunities that you have with recreation. I'm not going to show you a whole lot of slides, but obviously hunting, fishing, bird watching, hiking, horseback riding, and four-wheeling. There's a lot of opportunities for you to have on your property. Chance to kill that first big buck, catch a little spike on your place. Changing the subject, let's go to timber harvesting for just a minute. At some point in time, you may want to cut some timber. A lot of folks say, "Well, I'll never cut those trees. I'll never cut those trees." Well, you send a kid to college and you're going to think about cutting a few trees. Let me recommend that you do hire a professional. If they don't handle the sale for you, they'll sure give you advice, and you won't be calling them after the sale and say, "Dang, I wish I'd have called you before I did this." And also a comment about timber harvesting. When it's all said and done, your place will not look the same. Sometimes things happen when you cut timber. Roads change, trees get gone. It is not the same place as when you started. Another big thing to do is prescribed burning. And prescribed burning has a lot of benefits. It is a wonderful tool. It's not for everyone. Not everyone can tolerate fire in their backyard or on their property and walk away from it. There again, if it's recommended that you do, and there are aesthetics, wildlife, hardwood control, there are a lot of reasons to do burning. And if you do it and you're not comfortable with it, there again, hire a professional to help you with it, to get it done and reduce the risk. There's no guarantee that a professional can keep the risk from getting out of hand, but reduce the risk at all possible. We're running into a lot of invasive species these days. The wild hogs, I don't know if they're up here, this part of the world. I know in South Alabama they are almost horrible. They do a lot of damage. They are difficult to control. And they will tear up a piece of ground better than the bottom plow. If you ever have to drive back over the place they've been on. Kudzu we've had for years and years. I'll never forget when somebody asked Jimmy Carter what he thought about kudzu. He said, "They got a pretty flower." I thought, "Jimmy, you're one of the best politicians I've ever heard." And another species that we have to deal with is Cogongrass. It's real bad in Mobile and Baldwin counties. They're trying to keep it down south and control it from Montgomery north. I'm not sure how much help they've had, how much success they've had, but they are making an effort. I say they are. The euphemistic they, that would be you and me paying the government to help us control something. And now that you know everything I know about forestry and boots on the ground, kick back in your backyard and relax and watch the sunset. And that's who I am. If you want to call me for anything and have a question, please do so. I think I've been through this thing faster than I should have, Lee, but I hope I've covered everything that you all might be interested in. Any questions I can answer before I step down?